welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me are two men who are going to record this episode while falling from a helicopter into a pool that's about 200 miles below them. Phil Briggs and Adam Hodgins.
I actually learned the technique to fall into a pool from about 200 miles up. Apparently, if you kind of angle your way in, that's a safe way to do it. So, I don't know.
If often what I say to myself when I watch a film is if you could have the power, the magic wand to change one thing about this movie to make it better, what would that one change be, big or small? And in this movie, it would only be to have him yell cannonball as he jumps out of the helicopter.
Oh, just you
right?
Can't see me.
Oh, yes!
That's the one.
Like, yeah. Just like have him crank like a can opener or something. It'd be amazing.
And then Ashley Scott, his girlfriend, just yells, I guess Molly Porter yells, cannonball!
Right.
And then Miles Jackson goes, what? And then he blows up.
Mark, you've been in the film industry and the convention scene for many years, correct?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Way too long.
Have you ever met Ashley Scott?
Same shows, but you've worked with me twice. I never talked to any of the celebrities. Right. I always, cause I had the Florida run. I had people to talk to, breaks.
Busy man.
Yeah. And also, since they always sent me in to do the hard jobs, like, hey, actually, we don't have, so the handlers, when there's no coffee, they're like, hey, Mark, go tell that person that there's no coffee. Like, they never talk to you anyway, and they'll just hate you. And I'm like, okay. So I was the guy who, I didn't want to be too friendly with people, because when I had to go tell them that there was no coffee, they're like, well, we weren't friends beforehand, so I just don't like you. Not like, we were friends, but now I'm going to give you the cold shoulder. So I was that guy.
Right.
Like, I was so I stayed away from everybody on sets, film sets. I actually got thrown off when people were nice to me. Like when a celebrity was like, hey, Mark, how you doing? I'm like, what? So yeah,
them.
I just froze. I just did the Ricky Bobby where he lifts his arm up when he's being interviewed.
That's right.
So that was...
Yeah, because I have a theory, and I have nothing to base it on except my own ideas. But I think she's got to be 20% larger than average, the average leading lady. Because she's in this movie with John Cena, and she's in she's in Walking Tall with The Rock, and does not appear out of proportion with these giant men.
So in Hollywood size, it's a little taller than she's, what, 5'5"? Is what you're saying?
I'd say she's like 5'9".
5'9". Well, that makes sense because, yeah, she was in movies with Dwayne Johnson and John Cena, and Cena's 6'1". I did have to walk next to Cena in Wizard World Philly 2012, and I'm taller than he is, but he's a brick. Like, no wonder he could pick up. I saw him live once. I went to a WWE event, and it was him, the Great Khali, and Umaga in the final. That was the headliner of the night.
WWE Hall of Famer, the Great Khali.
The Great Khali.
That's right.
But he picked up both of them.
Any night of the year.
He picked up both of them. And I'm just...
Yeah.
John Cena was, still is, will be... Dude's a brick. So I
want to say he's so brick-like, like so like muscular, and just like he's almost like unhuman a little bit. Like I have a hard time relating to his human characters because I'm like he's something else.
I felt terrible for that cell phone he was holding.
Oh,
Phil, did you worry about that cell phone during this movie?
Yeah, I worried about the cell phones actually throughout, and it was funny to see, the role that 2008 cell phone technology played at some of the pivotal points in this movie, and I'm sure we'll get into it later. But it was really interesting and hilarious to see him carrying around that little flip phone the entire movie.
I was worried for its life.
There was also no less than 6 close-up shots of John Cena's massive foot on the gas pedal.
You know what I do love about that? So I watched this movie for the first time since it was released.
Right.
So I just thought, okay, I remember liking this. Renny Harlin is my spirit animal. I'm going to like this. I watched it again, and I just kind of thought, uh-oh. And
yeah.
I did. I was kind of like, ooh. But then I listened to the commentaries from this, and I watched all the behind-the-scenes features. Then I realized that this is only a $20 million budgeted movie. I listened to John Cena speak. I love hearing him on podcasts, commentaries, and I'm not trying to be reductive towards him, but he's an incredibly intelligent guy. Hearing him speak, he gets it. And then I watched the making of. So he did when he's in cop cars, when everything's not crazy, he did his own driving. He took a driving school for this. He was in the fire truck while a stunt driver to the right of him strapped in was driving. And when he has a fear of heights, so they dropped him from that rope. Renny Harlin had to trick him because he almost quit the movie during the scene where he's sliding down the rope. What I love about this movie is that the story's kind of funky. Danny Fisher's not even shown as a character for the most part until like 20 some minutes in, but it's very analog. You see the car smashing other cars. You see,
I'll give it that.
You feel the sweat. So I just watched Fast Five, and the only person sweating is Dwayne Johnson. And in this movie, everybody's sweating. People are dropping from buildings. There's real explosions. It's very analog. Like Renny Harlin took a chance in this film. I mean, he brought in the cinematographer is the guy who shot David Boyd, the Friday Night Lights TV show, which is brilliant, but it's shot very documentary style. And so that's what they had, 3 cameras rolling at all times on this. So after watching all the extras and hearing the commentaries, I almost just want to tell people to listen to the commentaries and extras and not watch the movie. Am I wrong, Phil?
I think you're right. And really, I read an interview with Cena somewhere as well, where he said, he really felt that this was a much more relatable character that the audience would connect with compared to, say, the Marine. And so he was all in. He was going for it for sure. And I completely agree. You really feel from a cinematic perspective, like you are right in the center of the action from start to finish with this.
So
I love that about it, right?
I didn't watch any of the making of or the commentary. So answer me this, and I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but I do want to point this out. Did Renny Harlin or anybody make any references to speed when they were doing the commentary?
No. He kind of mentioned that he had done Die Hard before, because this is kind of a Die Hard with a vengeance scenario where it's supposedly revenge, and then it's all meant to steal. It's basically Speed. Yeah, I mean, you get on the thing, you got to stop the train.
If we break it down, it starts off with 2 cops in uniform doing one thing, thwarting like a bad guy, who then plans revenge in the future on one cop specifically. And then there's even like a wonky winch situation where like John Cena coming out of off the skyscraper there on the goes and it stops and it goes again. So that it borrowed that, and then they're on the bomb with a bus. And if you watch, the bus number is 50-50. Yeah. And the bus number in Speed was 25-25, so exactly double. So I think he was trying to say this movie is twice as good as Speed. What maybe most feel like I was watching Speed was, like you guys are saying, that like very analog, visceral, real. It felt like it was made in 93.
And I love that about it. And we also have to look at where Renny Harlin was in his career at the time. So Renny Harlin, I mean, when we look at him in the 90s with all of his kind of, in his pomp, for lack of a better word, I mean, he knocked out Die Hard 2, massive film. Cliffhanger, massive film. I love Cutthroat Island. I'm never gonna, I'll stick up for that all the time. Long Kiss Goodnight was beautiful. But then he did Deep Blue Sea, which that made a lot of money. It's a great film. But then he moved on to Driven, which lost the studio money. Then he moved on to Exorcist, which was kind of a debacle. The Covenant was a minor hit. But then he had Cleaner, which didn't even get a theatrical release. So when he made 12 Rounds, I think he was hired because they had this Die Hard script. They had $20 million, and he just knew how to make it. Like, the writer was like, yeah, we're going to be shooting in Chicago. He's like, no, we have $20 million. We're shooting in New Orleans. You can't afford, a $20 million movie in LA, New York, or Chicago would not look like this picture, as sprawling as it is. And which I think maybe it was too sprawling for the $20 million budget, but I think I give Renny Harlin a pass because at this time, I think he had to take what was given to him. And so they gave him this, they gave him $20 million. They said, listen, the Marine didn't change the wheel at all, but it made, I don't know if you guys know this, it made bank on DVD. I don't know, everybody was buying the Marine on DVD.
I bought it on DVD.
Yeah,
I bought it on DVD.
So did I.
Yep.
I watched the 3 of them. I don't know if I saw the 4, but they just thought, you know what?
There's 7 of them now.
Oh, God. So I just think they thought, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We have this Die Hard Speed scenario movie. We have the dude from The Wire and, well, not yet Game of Thrones, Aidan Gillen.
Yeah.
This dude can make a $20 million movie look like a $40 million movie. So I think that's why he got it. And to his credit, I'm really sticking up for him here. If I just watched the movie, Adam, you and I would be on the same page. But I think.
No, and I want to be very clear here. I'm not saying I did not enjoy this movie.
Oh, okay.
You put this because I love Speed, and I love, like, you know me, Mark. When we talk about what we're going to do, I'm like, hey, let's do a 90s action movie because that's where I live and breathe. And this, I think, did a great job of being an homage to that. And in no way am I complaining about it. I'm just saying it felt a little bit like they leaned into the Speed/Die Hard situation.
I mean, they didn't lean into it. They, like, Hercules pushed. Like, you know, at the end of, well, The Legend of Hercules, when he pushed with Scott Adkins, everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
When he pushes the Scott pillar down. When he pushes the pillar down, like, that's what Renny was leaning into. I mean, this was full lean.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But, I mean, I'm happy we did this because I have never had such a flip between feeling weird about a movie and then loving it after watching the extras. So I don't know.
Okay,
I dig it.
I have a question to ask you guys so maybe this was addressed in the commentary. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But something I'd never seen before in my life is in the opening, or like when you flash forward to John Cena and he's a cop and he's talking to Ashley Scott and they're moving into their house and he's looking for his badge at the beginning. He has his belt over his shoulder. And I've never seen that before, but then I was like, but that's how he carries his wrestling belt.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
His gun belt is over his shoulder as if it's the championship of the world.
Was the clip on his belt spinning around in circles?
I imagine it would have been off screen, yes.
How else could he have held it? With just one end and then it dragging on the ground? Is that a way someone held the belt?
I think The Rock did that one point in time. But I think, like, in any other movie, he would just have it on and he's looking for his badge. Oh, I need to find my badge. But he's got it over his shoulder like he's going to WrestleMania.
Maybe he got mixed up because he was still doing Raw at the time. So maybe this was a Tuesday and he had just gotten done on the wrestling on a Monday night. He didn't have much sleep. This is the first shot in the morning.
Right.
He has his Monster Energy and he just has it on his shoulder.
And in all honesty, if that's the extent to which, you know, his wrestling instincts carried into this movie, I don't think that's that bad. I'd never seen this movie prior to watching it the other day in preparation for this. I was really looking for, you know, is Cena going to be doing wrestling moves in this? Like, is he going to be dropping 5-knuckle shuffles and that sort of thing? And, you know, I was surprised to see that there really wasn't any of that. So, you know, if that is the extent to which, you know, there's a wrestling homage or reference in this, then that's pretty minimal, which was a bit surprising for me.
Well, because there was nothing else in the film, I was like, is this intentional or am I projecting onto the movie?
I mean, I see it now. I never noticed it, but I was too worried about the sink and how he was supposed to get it taken care of, and then he just completely flaked on it. And then she was in there trying to take care of it, but there's still water all over the wood floor. I've had water damage in my house. You get towels on that immediately. I know it's draining, but you got to get some towels down. Maybe she had just found it. I'll give her credit on that. So I was just thinking, this guy, like, he won't marry her after 7 years, and that's fine, whatever. I'm not making any judgments, but he's like, yeah, man, you've been with her for 7 years. Like, you moved in. You know, like, just when are you going to do this? And then he forgets about the sink, and you're like, what, is he busy? Is being a detective gotten him so busy? I was asking those questions, not the belt on the shoulder.
So, but again, I want to say this. The three of us are all married to wonderful ladies. I know them. I know all of our wives. They're fantastic. But I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say, when you've been married as long as we have, you have some scuffles. You have some disagreements. You have some moments that are not pleasant. Their interaction about the sink may have been cold, but I felt they played it too much. Like, oh my goodness, like, at the end he's like, do you trust me? I was like, of course she trusts you. You guys are in a helicopter that's going to explode in a second. She's going to say, no, I got something else. And then boom, she just explodes. So I felt like the stakes of their marriage was on the rock for that moment. I didn't think it was enough.
See, I think one of the things that I found confusing is that Cena, he's got the look down, right? Like, the guy clearly is, you know, a winner. He's an action hero. But I wondered throughout the whole movie, like, is this character Danny, does he have his stuff together? Because, like think about it. Like, so he's been a beat cop. He's patrolling the streets for years and years, right? How does he get his promotion to detective after all of that time? in all honesty, he kind of lucks his way into being in the right place at the right time. You know, the girl that gets Aidan's girlfriend that gets killed, it wasn't even by him. It was just like a freak accident, and that's what ends up earning him his promotion. So I don't know. I found it a little bit confusing. He's letting his house go to disrepair. He's kind of lucking his way into a promotion. But the whole time we're sort of thinking, well, it's John Cena. He looks like, I don't know, like he looks like the guy that you think would be the shoe-in to be detective. I kind of agree with you, Adam. It's a little bit confusing why she seems to think, not really trust him or think, like they mentioned at one point, he didn't pay the electricity bill or something like that.
Right.
Like I kind of thought that she was going to mention that in the helicopter when he was like, do you trust me now? And she's, well, that one time when you didn't pay the bill.
And Aidan Gillen and Miles Jackson's like, you don't pay the electricity bill? Shut up, Miles.
So when we were growing up, there was one Christmas where things got real busy, I guess. And for whatever reason, my parents forgot to pay the cable bill. And so it just so happens that the cable stopped coming in on Christmas Eve night when we were all in bed. But that Christmas, my dad bought the family a new television. And it's the first time we had a VCR. So all morning we're excited. We plug it in. It's just static. Nothing but static. And my father, for the next 6 hours, tried to figure out why the new TV wouldn't work. But we just didn't pay the bill. He had just forgotten to pay the cable bill in like the craziness of Christmas.
So, I mean, at least he got to learn the TV really well.
Yeah, no, he knew inside and out. Just it was not working.
Oh,
and what happened, how we found out was we got E.T. on VHS for Christmas that year with the VCR, and we put that in at work, and he's like, oh, I think I figured out the problem.
Cable bill?
Cable bill.
Can we also talk about the scene where he is with his partner? They are at a bar. They are having a bunch of drunks. They're having a bunch of drinks. Him and Hank.
Having a bunch of drunks.
Yeah, they're beating them all up. He and Hank Carver are out. And he's like, man, I gotta get back home. But he fills up a to-go beer to go home, which this makes me really happy. Like, is he walking late at night to go home and then he's forgetting the bills? Does he have... Okay, so in the behind-the-scenes stuff, they always had 3 cameras rolling. And to be fair, Cena had performed in front of thousands for years and years and years. But when I hear a lot of people who act on the stage or wrestlers, you're performing for, like, the cheap seats. You're performing for everybody in the auditorium. Then Renny Harlin throws him into a movie where he's like, this is documentary feel. You are going to act. There's no mark. There was no marks in this movie. There's no marks. I'm going to give you minimal direction, and there's always 3 cameras on you. Act. I don't know if that did him a favor in this role, because it was the second film, and it wasn't, I don't think Renny Harlin nurtured him much. He loved him. Everyone loved Cena on this thing. But I don't think they probably could have nurtured his performance a little bit more in this.
Yeah, I think just like the rest of his career, I think Cena gets by on his charm a lot. Like, he's genuinely a charming guy. So what he lacks in, like, acting ability here, I think that, you're like, yeah, but it's John Cena. Look at him go. He's doing stuff. He's
trying. He's running. He's driving. He did all his own stunts. And he's gotten better in blockers and comedies. I think they sort of, like, what's interesting? I don't know if you noticed this, Phil, where a lot of actors, they're like the new hot thing, and then they get put in a blockbuster and it does horribly. And then 2 years later, they're doing really well as character actors, doing really funky movies. That's kind of John Cena, right? He jumped over to blockers. He's jumping over to Trainwreck. He sort of figured out comedy a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Adam. I was gonna say.
Hey, wait, let me jump in here. No, I'm joking.
We're so polite. But I was gonna say he was in the Will Ferrell Daddy's Home, right?
Oh yeah, is being funny in that as well. So I think he's found his range.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously the comparisons, to The Rock, I think would be a natural one to make, right? And a little bit, maybe a bit unfair to Cena, because really with The Rock, we're talking about, a guy that is probably the most charismatic personality to come from the WWE and transition over to Hollywood movies. So, I think if you're thinking with Cena that you're getting sort of the next Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, that's maybe a little bit unfair to him. So it's interesting to see sort of early on. I agree with you, Mark, that I think that he maybe sort of struggled with the lack of direction in this, but it'll be interesting to see, it's kind of where he goes from here. I haven't seen some of those other movies that you referenced, but I'll have to check them out and see his sort of trajectory as he goes on.
Yeah, in Blockers, he's playing this dad whose daughter is going out on prom night, and he finds himself in a ton of shenanigans, and he like butt chugs a beer instead of beer bongs it, and he's just a wild and crazy weirdo in it, who's just also very
Right.
muscular. Like I don't even think they talk about his muscularity at all in that movie. He's just an insecure dad, and he's really funny in it.
And Leslie Mann makes a great youth minister joke in that movie.
What's
Because
she
John
say?
John Cena shows up with khaki pants and a plaid shirt tucked into them, and she goes, "Would you untuck your shirt? You look like a youth minister." And I just died.
Is that true?
I've never tucked in my plaid shirt to any of my pants, so no, it's not true.
Interesting.
It's a stereotype that I stand against.
But I think, what's interesting is they also saddled him with relationship troubles right off the bat. Like, what if they just made him a happy couple? That's what I don't get about a lot of movies where, okay, I know you have an unhappy couple in the beginning, and then something terrible happens, and then they come together, and they lose each other, and they realize, like, we should have been better the whole time. But sometimes I'm like, just let them like each other a lot.
Well,
and then take them away. And then I'm going to get her back. Like, just have that.
I think that would have worked better, but I think, too, like, the thing that worked in Speed, I'll stop making comparisons, but is that Annie and Jack didn't know each other. And he was just saving her strictly because he was a good guy, not because he was in love with her. And
Yeah.
I think that showed more of his character, and I think that could have worked here.
And I don't know about you, Phil, but when you watch a movie now and you see a kidnapped wife or girlfriend, do you just are you like, ugh, not again?
Well, yeah, a little bit. And I'm with you guys on this, though. I think that if they were, the happy couple, that things are going great, then it really makes the stakes that much more important, right? It's we're rooting for John that much more. But if he's if she's giving him a hard time about the electricity bill, then I'm wondering whether this relationship is even going to continue on after this whole incident anyway.
Well, I want to see the deleted scene where he goes home and the house is blown up. And whose fault is this, John Cena? Like, I don't think that's a fun conversation they're going to have.
It was one of the biggest questions that I had was whether the insurance company is going to cover this. I mean, he's let the house go into a bit of a state of disrepair. Like, surely the adjuster is going to be in there and, trying to claim that this was due to broken water pipes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, Phil
Right,
the plumber
water-
didn't even get a chance to fix anything.
No, right? The water leaked into the junction box, started the fire, then it exploded because of a faulty other pipe, John Cena.
Oh, imagine that later on in the movie. Danny Fisher is with Miles Jackson, and Danny's like, "You blew up my house," and Miles like, "What?" Like, "I blew up your Bronco. I didn't blow up your house. Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, I like Phil the plumber. Wait, your house blew up? Well, yeah. Like, well, it wasn't me." And then Danny just stops, kind of thinks about it. Oh, left the gas on. Yeah, oven's broken.
I really fishered that one, didn't I, guys? Womp, 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 sad trombone.
That's a minute of a movie I want, where they both just sit and stare at each other for a little bit. Miles Jackson's a little confused.
Did you feel, and maybe again I'm projecting, did you feel Miles Jackson's character was very, very similar to Nick Cage from Face Off?
No.
I just couldn't unsee Edward Norton the whole time.
Oh, it was very Edward Norton-y.
It was
just
a
kind of
very
strutting
Norton
around.
vibe.
Yeah.
No, the whole time I was watching, I felt like the direction he was given was be Castor Troy, go.
Like Castor Troy, but not Nicolas Cage playing Castor Troy.
Right. Like go to Cage and then dial it back 3.
I gotta tell y'all, I wrote this in my notes. If I ever act, that's the role I want. Because it would just be me strolling around New Orleans, saying sassy things on a phone. Like, it's just very self-satisfied, very little anger, and just me looking smug and blowing stuff up. Like, that's the ideal role. And me getting a few licks in on John Cena. Like, not literal, like punches. And so it's just landing some punches on Cena, walking around full of myself, blowing a few things up, being a criminal mastermind. That's a perfect role.
No,
SIM cards,
what?
a pocket full of SIM cards that you can throw away.
It's just on me at all times.
He must have gone through about 15 SIM cards in this movie, in this hour 40-minute movie.
That's his nickname, Miles SIM Card Jackson.
But I feel like the cell phone was really the sonic screwdriver of this episode. It's like when we need any, like, we're going to get ourselves in any corner, oh, the cell phone will do it. Like, oh, the address is saved in the memory chip of this. Like, there's all these, like, things just kind of like, the cell phone will answer that question. So I felt it was used a little bit too much for my liking.
I loved though that the challenge number 9, round 9, that they were trying to figure out, the location that the 5 phone numbers were to reveal to them, and they were having to use the old T9 style texting. My wife, that was her note when we were watching. She's like, if they just had like up to date keyboards on like an iPhone, they would have been able to solve this way faster.
Yeah, and it was all 555, which I love. I love that the art department in that movie was just like, we're going with the 555s. Like, that's what we're doing. We're not going away from that. Oh, I love it. I love the SIM cards though. There's a scene where he's on his phone. 3 seconds later, the SIM card's coming out of that phone. I mean, this guy is a pro at wasting SIM cards. It's beautiful.
Do you think if they knew that, they could have said, like, can you run an APB on guys who bought 78 SIM cards in the last week?
Yeah. Who's bought 7,000 SIM cards recently?
Right. And then that's how you catch them. That's where you get them. Now,
How'd you find me? Well, you bulk ordered 3,000 SIM cards from
your
China.
Amazon cart here is full of SIM cards, bro. So here's another thing, Mark.
If you buy more than 100, we flag you.
It's a no-fly zone. It would actually be cheaper to just buy a 75 burner phone.
Would it?
Probably easier.
So wait, so then he has a backpack full of phones and he's just chucking them?
It's a little less subtle than just tossing the SIM card out the bus window, though, right? You're throwing your burner phone out the window and then shattering it all over the ground. I don't know. The SIM card was a really elegant solution, I think, in this case.
See, I would have left my burner phone as like a red herring. They'll think I'm on this bus when they trace this call.
But then they could follow you just every step of the way.
Yeah, and see my path of destruction.
So you're Adam Cell Phone Hodgins. You are a notorious criminal mastermind who, I love in the beginning of this film everything that they say that Miles Jackson has done. He's blown up airplanes. He blew up the last dinosaur. He's sunk the Titanic. Like he
decapitated his own brother when the deal went bad. That was by far the best one.
He decapitates his own brother. Everybody that makes it Samuel who makes a deal with him, he just kills him. And then he goes by, just really cheekily.
The thing about that is, like, I remember listening to one of your previous episodes where you guys were talking about the villain from Gone in 60 Seconds, the Carpenter. And really what they're doing here, and Adam, you'll know this from pro wrestling, right? They talk about how the bad guys in pro wrestling, they got to build their heat. You've got to have a reason to dislike this guy or to be afraid of this guy. And that's what they're doing here at the beginning of the movie. Decapitating his own brother. I was like, okay, this guy's serious. We need to be afraid. We need to watch out for this guy.
That's a heel move right there.
He decapitated his brother.
But I wanted to say this was interesting to me as well. When the movie started and Fisher and his partner there in a cop car driving around, if movies have taught me anything, it's that the police and the FBI hate each other and never share information. Share information.
Even partners.
Even partners. They seem to know a lot about this investigation that was going on and that they might need to help out with.
Ray Santiago and George Aiken?
Well, no, like Cena in the cop car, they're like talking about this thing that's going on, but they're not part of it was weird to me that they had that much information about the operation going down and the people involved.
Oh, in the very beginning.
They went from not knowing, anything about what was going on to John Cena being able to ID like one of the prime suspects, the girlfriend from, across the other car. Yeah, I'm with you on that. They really they were brought up to speed by that quick background search pretty quickly.
Who's ever doing that job, we need to hire them because they got the information out quick. Like that person's doing their job.
Right. And that helped John Cena become a detective.
Man, and watching John Cena tear through New Orleans fences, it was Renny Harlin though. He wanted to take away all of Cena's sort of superpowers. But if you look at Dwayne Johnson's career, right? He started off in The Scorpion King. He is an expert archer, destroys everybody. And then you have Rundown. He takes out an army. Like they didn't play like in Marine, like Cena just has to get his girlfriend back from Robert Patrick. Like that's tough competition. But they played Cena a lot less capable than Dwayne Johnson to begin with. What if in this movie he's just supremely capable? Would that have been more of a fun movie than just sort of have him be an everyday Joe?
I think if he was supremely capable in relationships, it would have been better. Not so much physicality. Just make him a good husband is all I want.
Would The Rock play a bad husband in a movie? Well, he's always divorced. You know what's interesting? In Dwayne Johnson movies, you never see him being a bad husband because I feel like he's always divorced in these movies.
Was he divorced in Skyscraper?
Wait, no, he's a good husband in that. Crap. But in San Andreas, he's divorced.
I don't know if he was a good husband. It was very tense.
Yeah.
I felt they were not like, oh, this is great. It was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, because he's nervous, and she's like, you're going to do great.
It felt tense. Yeah, that was also a weird one, too, because it was Jennifer Love Hewitt, right? Was the
Nev Campbell.
No, it was Nev Campbell. And I'm used to watching Nev Campbell as like a teenager, because that's when I grew up with her. So watching her now being like married to The Rock, I'm like, this doesn't add up. You're not that old, but it's just me aging myself.
The Party of Five crew, they're all getting older now.
Scott Wolf.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's on Films of Vancouver. Nancy Drew. He's in that show now.
Yep.
Crushing it. All right, so how about this? Let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will talk more 12 rounds. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And during the break, we were chatting about this, and Phil, you had a great point about expectations for this movie, and I think my expectations were so high because Renny Harlin. Like, I've always been a Harlin fan. So I was like, yes, Renny Harlin's getting his chance back. This dude has done this. So I had really high expectations, which were unfair for this $20 million budget action film. But you didn't really have those.
Yeah, I think the key to movie enjoyment and maybe to happiness in life in general is low expectation. And so, you know what? Going in, as I mentioned earlier, I hadn't seen this movie and wasn't super familiar with Cena's work necessarily. I just knew him from wrestling. And so going in, I would say that my expectations for this were pretty low. And I was pleasantly surprised. Again, some of the things that we've talked about, the action sequences, the set pieces, really, this was a fun popcorn action movie. And so I came away really just, it was a ton of fun.
And that's what it is, right? I mean, you have legit just, you know what's nice? And what I love about this movie is when a car crashes into it, like when that fire truck hits some cars, it looks like it just pulverizes those things. It made me so happy to see in this movie. It just made me so happy to watch as real things were blown up and real cars were driven. And Renny Harlin, he says this. So in Long Kiss Goodnight, Deep Blue Sea, he expects his actors to do a lot of their own stunts. And so I kept watching this movie. I don't know if y'all noticed this, and I'm glad I remembered it. Because I have notes, and it looks like a madman writes these notes, so I just got to glean things from them. I kept noticing Cena grabbing something, then looking at his hand and being like, ouch. But 3-4 times in the behind-the-scenes footage, he's just grabbing on the glass and ripping up his hand. Like, it happened to him about 4 times in this movie. So I don't know if you ever noticed him. He kept cutting his hands because he's always around glass or jumping on cars or on a ferry on top of it. Now he's rigged, but he's still falling on this car. It's pretty neat. Like, I don't know. He put him... This is a movie that only John Cena in his second movie would make. John Cena would not go through all this stuff again, I don't think.
I also love the scene where they're like, we need to stop the trolley. So he drives a car in front of it, a car that has wheels and weighs considerably less than the trolley. And he's like, I'll just slam the brakes on and this will stop it. Which, in fact, it does not. It's a failed attempt. And I love that it didn't work. That was... Yeah.
He gets out at one point and climbs on top of the trolley and starts hammering at it and then gets back into the car and just says, all right, that didn't work.
Yes. Yeah. No, I love that too because I just thought, wait, that didn't, it didn't work. That's quite refreshing. I didn't even think about that. That's really refreshing, actually. He just kind of hammered on it. Yeah. No, shouldn't waste my time with that. I'm coming back down.
No. Redirect. What else we got?
Oh, that was
also,
yeah.
The good FBI, well, there's 2 FBI agents here. There's the one guy who's got his Hot Wheels car, which I think that was his choice. I think he came to the set and he was like, I got a bit I'm going to do that's going to show that I'm emotionally connected to this guy with a Hot Wheels car. But as a vintage toy collector, that Hot Wheels car is in immaculate shape. There's no paint wear on it. There's no denting. The wheels are straight.
It's the unbreakable of Hot Wheel cars.
Yeah, and it was the only thing left from a terrible explosion. And I was like, would it hurt just to smash the thing around a little bit, put a little bit of wear on that bad boy? But anyways, the other agent who was kind of more helpful, he had some nice socks. He had some short pants and nice socks that when he took over driving that car, there was an incredible shot of his leg and sock, and it was like, ooh, that is an interesting choice.
What was it? What were the socks?
They were just like dress. They weren't dress socks. They were higher than dress socks, but his pants came down when he was sitting down. It came down just below his knee because you could see his shoe, his sock, and then where the sock ended, and there was leg, and then there was pant cuffs. It was a lot. It was a lot exposed.
I wish I could have been there with you watching this movie, because we've been recording this for episodes of this podcast for a couple of years now, maybe more, and I have never heard these observations from you ever with all these before. This is a new side of you on here, man. You're going hard on 12 rounds.
Well, I knew that Phil would be naturally kind of filling the role that I usually do, so I had to find a new bit. I didn't want to just be repeating everything Phil said. We're such on the same page, Mark. I don't want to be agreeing with my buddy all the night. So I was like, I'm going to make some other observations, and these are some of them. So speaking of other observations, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Favorite moment of the film?
Favorite moment of the film? You go first, Phil.
I mean, I think the whole bus scene for me was probably the best scene in the film, where he just sees Molly with the bomb vest on, and he's face to face with the villain whose name all of a sudden I'm forgetting, with Jackson. And for me, that entire scene where he, the snipers are going to take out Jackson, and Danny wants to save his girlfriend, and so he saves both his girlfriend and the villain. That for me was probably my favorite.
Because you're right, there were stakes at that. George Aiken was pushing to murder him, but if he did, they would all blow up. And there was tension in that. Because that's fun screenwriting. The hero has to save the villain, because if not, everyone blows up. Like that's a good way to get some, I don't know, your heart pumping a little bit, right? Get some tension going on there.
Well, it gets you on Team Cena a little bit, right? It shows you that, like, nobody's really for this guy ultimately, and he's the only guy that really gets it. So it gets Cena some stake.
And he's got information that nobody else has, right? And so this is where it's sort of debatable whether how competent he is as a detective or as a police officer. In this circumstance, he's the guy that is kind of playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers, right? The FBI guys they don't really care about the consequences. They're just trying to take out Jackson, but Cena realizes that if that happens, then everybody on that bus is going to die. And so I think it was one of the high points for Cena in the movie.
Because it gave him some agency, right? It gave him something to act with, not just acting like I haven't paid the electricity bill, that kind of mumbling. Like, this gave him something to really sink his teeth into. I bet he loved filming that scene, because that's probably the most acting he does. And I'm not saying like in a bad way, but you're right, Phil. That's probably the most acting he has to do, because there's the kind of on the bus, there's the pressure. No, it's a good scene. I dig that scene. And he gets to yell at Aiken for a while too. And Aiken's like, "Oh, my bad."
That was great when you got to punch Aiken. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Punch that guy.
I felt bad for Aiken.
Well, my question about that scene was, Santiago then, so the other FBI agent, just starts like smack talking his boss basically after Cena punches him in the face. Did you guys notice that? He said something like, "Oh, you got a little something right there," and I was like, what is going on here with these two guys?
So
I totally understand their dynamic.
I don't know if you caught it, Phil, but he said, "You got something right there," but also flip him the finger.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a rough move to pull on who I presume is his boss.
He's just tired of Aiken. But you know what's interesting? He must know Aiken's situation, though, that Aiken doesn't want another plane blowing up. But he's just become so insufferable that Santiago is tired of it.
Is that the prequel, the Aiken situation?
Oh, yeah. But Aiken, he really gives it. He goes heavy on Santiago. So I was kind of happy when Santiago did the pointing at the lip with flicking him off. That mean, like, also, sometimes when there's somebody who it's kind of the alpha, but then they show weakness, it's on then. So you have Aiken getting hit by a beefy Danny Fisher hand, and Santiago just realizes, hey, this is my time. This is my opening for this. I can do it.
Also, I feel like Aiken pulled the Harry Potter nonsense that really I want to love those movies a lot, but I just can't, because For me, it's kind of like, well, if Harry knew about this, but don't tell him. And everybody knows what's going on. No one tells Harry. And so Aiken knows all this information, just doesn't tell anybody. Right? He's like, well, Fisher, if you knew what I knew. I'm like, well, just tell him. Like, clearly he's not the bad guy here. Why are you telling him what's going on? Tell him. And then they tell him at the 12th hour, or the 12th round, if you will. And then all of a sudden this information's helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know. That bothers me. Let's be on the same team. I want to be team players. All our cards on the table.
I guess a better... Sure. But I also think if everyone just lays their cards out on the table immediately, and then they gotta just go through with the movie, I don't know. I can see both ways. But yeah, this one was kind of interesting that why... Well, he had no reason to really trust Danny Fisher, though, did he? George Aiken? Because Danny Fisher's just a cop, so he's not too worried about him.
But he had no reason not to trust him.
But I guess in the beginning, too, he went above the CIA or FBI director's head. He's like, I'm not calling him. This is my mission. And then he messed up. So this guy seems to be very rogue, cagey. He doesn't tell people anything. So it's kind of on character that he doesn't give Danny Fisher anything.
That's true.
As far as we know, Aiken doesn't know about the unpaid electricity bill either. So.
Yeah, exactly. And the plumbing.
If Aiken knew about that, he would have just arrested John Cena. Put him in a slammer. We'll take care of this ourselves.
You know, they built that house to blow it up. I love that scene.
It looked very small. And the seconds before it exploded, I was like, that is a small house. And then it explodes.
It was a cute little blue house, though. They just put that. I love that they just built it to blow it up. And that's also, I was looking at some of the crew in this movie, and we'll get to our favorite moments real quick. But Steve Ritchie, the stunt coordinator, this dude has worked on, he worked on Face Off, Blade, then he did The Patriot, and then he moved up to stunt coordinator. Like he did, and then he did, he was on Red Eye, Transporter 2, and then he went on to do The Guardian, Employee of the Month, like Death Sentence, The Brave One. He did The Mist, the stunt coordinator on that. Like, this guy has Never Back Down. Hey, that's a fun movie. But yeah, he...
Mark, you let me know when we're doing our Never Back Down podcast.
That's our next one. That's our next one. So I'm in. I'll talk about that movie all day. Great villain. But yeah, this guy went on to do 12 rounds, but I don't know. I was looking through the crew of this film. That he did the stunt coordinator on The Looper, G.I. Joe Retaliation. This is a guy who's doing huge movies right now. He actually teamed up with John Cena again for Blockers and Game Night. He's in Atlanta right now working. Stuber. He did that. And then I looked at the production designer who has just a ton of skill. And I thought one thing Renny Harlin said in this movie was interesting. So they didn't really have any money to build sets. But since it went to New Orleans in 2009, it wasn't that popular with filming. So they didn't have a lot of crews there. So New Orleans sort of bent over backwards to help them. So they got the main street. They actually shot on the main street in Canal Street? No, that's in New York. But they shot on the main street
I think it is Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
I think Bourbon Street's the one.
Yeah, they shot on the main street there, and they were able to get these really good stunt coordinators. And I thought it was kind of smart that Renny Harlin really avoided sets. And you know what else saved Renny Harlin money on this? And I just thought it was pretty cool. So on a lot of film sets, you have there are gigantic, what we call sort of truck cities where, and I don't know if you've ever driven by a film set, a really big one, but there's a bunch of trailers, there's a bunch of trucks, there's a bunch of 18-wheelers. It's unwieldy. And if you got to move it, it's a massive move. So Renny Harlin in this movie knew that they would be moving a lot. They would get 80 setups a day, which is ludicrous, the amount of stuff they shot in this film. They would get 80 some setups a day, but everything was in vans. So everything could move quick. So Renny Harlin didn't have to pay for all the trucks, all the drivers, all the lots that you have to rent, all the electricity that you have to set up. Like, if you're doing a base camp, it all needs electricity, so you need to hire people to come out. So what I love, once again, about this movie is this guy just knew that he had very little money, so he just made all these decisions about getting vans, having 3 people shoot, moving quick to get all the footage they could. The production designer, this guy, Nicholas Lundy, he was huge, but he's an art director. This is one of his first production design movies, but he had done like High Fidelity, 25th Hour. He also worked in the art department on Amistad, Inside Llewyn Davis, The Departed. This guy worked with Spielberg, like Donnie Brasco. Like he was a huge assistant art director. So he gave this guy, this really hungry production designer, very little money and said, we are shooting we're shooting on location. We are on there. So we don't have to build sets. You just have to make the areas we're in look good. And that really challenged this guy who got his first production design job on this to find really interesting locations to shoot at because they had no money. So if in the script they're like, the conversation takes place in an alley, they would go hunt down something better looking to have better production value in the background. So like, it's kind of crazy. When I first watched this movie, I didn't really appreciate it. And I enjoyed this movie. I had fun with it. But then when I learned more about it, the production limitations, I mean, $20 million nowadays is nothing, really. I mean, some movies are out there shooting with 200 million with huge base camps. So once again, I can never, ever, ever hate on this movie or dislike this movie. There's a couple choices that are funky, but once again, I just think it's a really neat thing to watch because they made some really unique decisions to stretch that budget, to make sure that people enjoy it, to make sure the popcorn value is there. And I don't know.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's so usually, sit down to watch a movie for our podcast. My wife is like, okay, I'll go watch something else but I sat down and watched this and she's like, oh, I think I might like this. And so she watched it with me and she was like, yeah, this is a good movie. It was just like a fun popcorn movie. So it's a very enjoyable movie. Like I said, there's just some neat choices. Now, Mark, I got a question for you in regards to budget before we get to your favorite moment of the movie. Did John Cena get paid for this movie? Or was he because it's WWE Studios, was it worked into his contract so his salary didn't come out of the overall budget? Did that help the budget as well?
Well, I think you would so for me working on these films, there is a certain scale you have to pay an actor. So unless it's in his contract where he did a negotiation where they extend his stay and they give him 2 movies. Like for a lot of wrestlers, The Miz, they're like, you can be in Marine 4. Like, we'll give you that. And I'm sure that they give him money for it, but that's a great question. I mean, you guys are you guys are wrestling fans. How big was Cena in this time?
Oh, he was the number one guy.
He's the top guy.
Him at his APAC.
Oh, so he was number one in this time. So he got paid, but it was probably.
But I think when they do the contracts, they'll say movies because here's the thing, and Steve Austin has said this a couple times on his podcast that he didn't get paid much more than scale to be in those movies, but he'd be in a movie every 4 or 5 years to keep his medical insurance.
Well, yeah, because union.
Because there's no medical insurance for wrestlers. But if you're in a movie, even through the WWE Studios, then you get to be part of the union, and then you get the health benefits. So that's why he would do it. And he said they just pay him scale, but it was made up for it because you get all the health care.
They couldn't have paid him much. Simply, I mean, Aidan Gillen, he didn't get paid much. Ashley Scott didn't get paid much. He couldn't have gotten, because I'm telling you, everything is on screen. Obviously not all 20 million, because someone to craft services, yada yada. But every available dollar is Cena on screen. Cena on screen.
And usually
in
you
this
can't
movie.
see him.
Yeah, and once again, I just love it. So yeah, I think they probably paid him scale.
So Mark, favorite moment. What is it?
Favorite moment. Okay, favorite moment. Like the opening chase scene when he's driving after no, that's not it. I mean, when he's dropping from the building, it's got to be the exploding helicopter jump into the pool. You can't see me move, because I love pool jumps and I love exploding helicopters. And yeah, I'll say that because it's just audacious. And you know what's interesting about 12 Rounds? A lot of the movie, it's clearly not believable, but when he slides down from the cable, he asks for gloves first. When he's driving around, there's the laws of physics involved.
Right.
When he's there seems to be physics in this world. This isn't the fast world. But I'm telling y'all, they dropped 200 feet into a 6-foot pool, and we're fine. No, there was something happening there, and even like the idea of they're in the helicopter. I'm like, are they going to get parachutes, or where are they going to go? And then you see the pool, you're like, they're not gonna. And then they do it. You're like, okay. Because I felt comfortable then. I've been here, done that. I like it.
The thing that I wondered the most about that scene, though, even more so than the pool jump, is Like, did learning how to fly a helicopter, is that part of like nurse training that Ashley Scott's character would have gone through that I wasn't aware of? Like, she was flying a helicopter, wasn't she?
I love that wrinkle about her too. I was like, I don't know why she's flying this. I thought maybe I didn't know she was a doc. I guess I never paid attention to her career, so maybe she could have been in the military before her past life. But she got in that thing flying it.
There was a lot of exposition on the drive to the hospital. Like, when they started unraveling his master plan, there was a lot of information coming out of those guys. Like, she's the key. The hospital's the key. It's not what he wants. It's been near the whole – like, they start spewing out stuff. So I think it could have been easily missed that, like, my girlfriend also drives a helicopter. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was reading back through again just to try to put these pieces together, and it seemed like part of the reason that she was the key was because she would be able to, like, she had the key card to be able to get him through all the various rooms that they were walking through, right? She's pushing the soaking wet money on the cart, and they're using her ID to scan through all to get him to the roof so that he can get into the helicopter. I don't know. Yeah, I must have missed how it became that she also was going to be the one to fly him away in the helicopter.
So, Phil, can I ask you a question? And if I put you on the spot, feel free to decline. You can just say, I decline. These movies always stress me out because they say, like, oh, if you had $100 million, you could do whatever you want. And you're like, yeah, that'd be nice to have $100 million. But these guys steal this money. And then I'm like, how do you spend it? Like, how do you under the rate? Like, how do you launder that? Like, it seems like more work than it's worth. And so you're a financial advisor. So if I came to you and I was like, I blew up John Cena's girlfriend and I have $200 million here, what do I do with it? What advice do you give me?
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem that you're going to run into is the fact that those funds were illegally obtained. So I don't know, man. I'm not sure that the first thing that you're doing after you steal the $100 million and commit multiple homicides is that you're walking in to see your financial advisor to update your retirement plan.
Sorry. I misspoke. I'm not coming to see you at work. I'm coming to your house. And I'm like, Phil, in the back of the Fiesta, I've got $200 million cash. What do I do with it?
Yeah, dude, that's like, how do we, I don't know. I feel like the Cayman Islands has to somehow be involved in this answer, but beyond that, I'm not sure that this is inside my area of expertise.
So I'm driving away from your house, Googling Cayman Islands money.
I definitely wouldn't use my phone. I would go. I mean, you're Adam cell phone Hodgins, so you're gonna go.
I got all kinds of burner phones that throw out the window.
You're gonna go meet Rick SIM card Stevens, and the two of you are just gonna swap back and forth, and then you're gonna put your money in there.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. So you're just gonna swap everything over there.
Yeah. So my favorite moment was a throwaway moment, but I was happy that it was in here because it gave me the biggest chuckle of the whole movie. So the elevator's falling down in a very Speed reminiscent scene. And then for some reason, this maid dressed in this French maid outfit walks by the elevator shaft.
Yes.
And her hair and hair and apron get blown up, and then it just cuts back to the action. I was like, that did not need to be there, but boy oh boy did I smile. It was so funny.
It showcased how fast it was going. It was just an action gratuitous moment.
Yeah. And, I was dying.
Poor Willie.
Poor Willie. Willie and his bad back.
Didn't they have 5 seconds left to get him up?
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is like they blew it too early. He had 5 seconds left. That's a direct line from Speed.
But listen, Speed was derivative of other films. I mean, there had always been bad guys hatching plans where you got to stop and do that. So I think I don't like picking on 12 rounds for being derivative, because that means we have to talk about every movie being derivative of something else.
I'm not making fun or speaking bad about it. I'm just talking about it because it's there.
Yeah.
If I made a movie, George Lucas would be like, "You just made Star Wars. What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm sorry. I wanted to make a lightsaber movie."
You made Force Awakens?
Lucas. Yeah. I'm like, I made The Last Jedi, but I did some different things.
Can we, not to, again, also accuse it of being derivative, but can I ask you guys a question? The metaphor of 12 rounds, or the whole concept of the idea of this game that Jackson and John Cena are playing here.
Yes, sir.
what are the rules of this game? I had the hardest time. I was trying to figure out whether this is like the Amazing Race. Is this a metaphor for them having a boxing match and they're going 12 rounds? Is this Calvin Ball and Aiken's just making up the rules as he goes? Like, I had the hardest time. It was like, okay, rounds 1 and 2, they're already done. I blew up your house and your car. Rounds 10 and 11, you took my associate, so I'm gonna kill your best friend. I felt like Jackson was just making these rules up as he went. Like, clearly he's never played this game and strung any other detective along in the past, right? Like, this is the first time he's ever done this.
Yeah, because there's no hard and fast rules. He never says no cops. Because he's rolling around with an army for the longest period of time. No cell phones. Don't tell anybody. He says he's kidnapped Ashley Scott almost immediately. It's kind of a anarchy, these 12 rounds.
I think the answer, Phil, is that we have to watch 12 rounds 2 starring Randy Orton and then 12 rounds 3 starring Dean Ambrose and see if they tighten up their game a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, because I don't know, if it were me, like, that would be my first question if I were Danny here. I'd be, okay, we're playing a game, and if I win the game, then you're going to release my girlfriend. Okay, what are the rules of the game? What am I? I'm a real rule follower, right? That's why I didn't want to help you launder. I didn't want to help you launder the money earlier, Adam, because again, I just that'd be a little bit outside the rules. So I'd be really wanting to get what are the parameters here, and it really just seemed like pure anarchy, absolutely.
And I was just thinking about this too. People talk about the Joker in Dark Knight being anarchy, but this is a Joker who, I did the math, built that cash pyramid. Like, he figured out the bottom layer, top layer, third layer. That's all math involved. And forklifts, and nothing about his plan was anarchy. In this one, to take out the ferry, so it had to be at the exact time when it was going towards that group of people. And Cena, I guess he knew Cena would fail long enough to see the electrical grid to drive into it. I mean, there's a lot of chance going on with these 12 rounds. Do you think he even thinks it's going to work? Is he just shocked that Cena just keeps doing all this stuff? I guess he has his girlfriend, but
yeah, but I think the 12 rounds is just a smoke show, right?
Yeah, but what if he doesn't blow out that power? So what if to stop the ferry, they just put a large wedge under it? They'd never see it coming. He's like, oh, that worked. Oh, hey, cool. And then the power stays on. Yeah. How does he pivot from that? Does he just blow it up?
Yeah, I think he does. He does something else, and I think he did have to pivot. I think that rounds 11 or 10 and 11 were something else, and then he was getting a little low on time, so he just was like, round 10 was you killed my associate, so round 12 or round 11 was I killed your buddy. I don't think he planned for that to be those rounds.
Yes.
I think he was just running with what he had, and he's like, oh, I'm at the money now, so let's just speed this thing up a little bit.
And I think you're exactly right. The whole purpose of his plan, right, was I got to get the people out of where the money is held, and then right. I got to have Cena knock the power out on this block so that I can sneak in there. And he's like, okay, so by round 12, the plan will be complete. And then it happened at round 9, and he was like, okay, I guess I got to make up a few more rounds here just to try and stick. I promised him 12 rounds from the beginning.
Yeah.
All right, rock, paper, scissors. That's how they get one round in. I have nothing left. Here's this one. And I have a bomb set to, yeah. So I wrote down, the first one's the house, the second one's Molly, the third one's the fire station, where I meet John Cena's brother for a little bit. And then the safety deposit box, the 2 pounds of explosives, and then the photos, Willie, elevator. Then you have the bus, or not the bus. Yeah, the bus. And then the stopping of the train, and then it just jumps ahead really quick.
Yeah. So we were watching this in our bedroom, my wife and I went to get a snack, and I came back and I was like, did I fall asleep? Did you fast forward it? Because it seems like a lot of rounds have passed. So I backed it up and I was like, oh no, it's just we're just ticking along here pretty quickly.
I really think though that what they were going for here from a storyline perspective is the boxing metaphor, there were a few sort of throwaway lines about like, okay, so this round's done, and like the bell sounds for the next round, and I think that's really the idea that Miles Jackson is going for.
Yeah, because he also kept saying if you fail, it's a knockout.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, there's definitely a boxing metaphor going on there. But,
I wish it would have ended with the two of them boxing.
So the helicopter 4 face punches from John Cena, I think I would be punching faster than that if my girlfriend was flying a helicopter with a bomb on it. He seemed to like punch, look, stare, wait, think, wait a beat, punch, wait, stare. Like he didn't seem to have a visceralness to him that I would have.
Maybe punching on a out of control helicopter is difficult.
Also, I think just moving John Cena's arm would be difficult.
He's tired though. I hadn't seen him drink any water all day. He hasn't really eaten anything. He has a lot of muscle, so his lactic acid's building up.
Right.
He's got to be quite. I mean, Phil, I'm sure Adam, you wrestled, and then Phil, you've trained MMA. Like we've done all that. The first time you've ever done
We're tough.
Well, I'm just saying, the first time that you've ever gone a round full of either like a one round of wrestling full on, or one round of boxing full on, and if you've never done it before and you hit it, you're going to be barfing by the end of that one round. You're going to punch yourself out, or when you're wrestling, you're just going to get head and armed and fireman carry and taken out like in the second round. So it's
absolutely
this guy. He had been going for 12 rounds all day. He's tired. I think he just had a bunch of beers. He's still worried about the house and the sink and the carpet and the plumber. Nothing's in him. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's just throwing tired Cena punches because of that and dehydration.
Could be.
Dwayne Johnson would never have that.
No, Dwayne Johnson just keeps going.
Dwayne.
I gotta do the hydration chart of action heroes.
Ooh, I'd like that. Is Aquaman going to be on there? Jason Momoa?
I mean, he drinks a lot. Gallons.
He's got to.
But he's got that I want to stick with humans because he has that superhero. I don't know what's going on in there. I don't know how it processes the alcohol. Because Steve Rogers can't even get drunk. So it must be just pulverizing those, whatever's in there really quick. So I'm more thinking just like the hydration chart of John McClane and Speed. Like, how dehydrated would these characters be?
Very. I'm saying very dehydrated. All of them.
We got to start this. I'm doing this.
Mark, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Before we get too close to the end here. 12 rounds. John Cena went the distance, correct? He went all 12 rounds.
Yes.
If it's not the John Cena character, if it's Casey Ryback,
30 seconds.
Movie, how many rounds happen?
Well, it wouldn't. In the beginning of the film, he would have caught Jackson, and this sounds bad, but he would have thrown a knife into the lady's leg, and she falls, and then the car doesn't hit her. So it's bad.
Saved her life.
Yeah, so it's bad. You kind of tore up. So you hit the meaty part of the calf. She'll be fine. Stitches. Out of the hospital. Still surly, right? Kind of annoyed. But Jackson's not filled with hate. Later on, she's like, he threw a knife at me, but I would have ran into that truck. So, I mean, it was for the better. And then if he escapes, Ryback would have known about it immediately while baking pies one morning, because he reads the paper. So he would have read about this, he would have known, and then he just would have been ready for it. He would have given Jackson 12 rounds.
Right.
He would have kidnapped Jackson's family and then made him do that.
He would have flipped the script and been helping his neighbor with his neighbor's leaky faucet.
Yeah, 0% chance that a faucet in Steven Seagal's home is leaky.
Ever. Doesn't have the guts to get leaky.
Where's my pies?
Exactly.
What are the odds, Phil, that Steven Seagal would have a leaky faucet in one of his homes in a movie in the 1990s?
I think 0%, but I gotta say though, I do wonder if he would struggle with the neighborhood run. Again, we were really praising Cena for his cardio, the entire time. I don't know, man. Steven Seagal, I'm not sure that he's known for the cardio.
Yeah, and this is maybe in the late 80s, but not in the mid 90s. Not Glimmerman Seagal.
No, that's when he was more about like, I'll stand still and action will happen around me.
He'll just throw a knife and it'll hit Jackson 2 miles away because he just sensed the wind gust that was coming.
While he's texting the president on his flip phone.
Wait, he throws it into a helicopter blade, and then that hits the knife 2 miles into Jackson. Imagine that.
It's incredible.
All right, so
Incredible.
All right, Phil, you've been the most eloquent about this film tonight, and it's been lovely. So give us your final thoughts about this movie before we get out of here.
You know what? I would recommend this film to anyone that's listening that hasn't seen it. Go, and even though now I'm telling you how great it is and how much you're going to enjoy it, lower your expectations before you go in, and you'll have a great time.
Absolutely, Adam.
Again, I'm going to say definitely it's a watch. You go in, and I don't want to be reductive, but it's a movie starring wrestlers made by a wrestling company, so it's going to be just action packed with like some soap opera drama, and that's what you get. And you walk in there and you have a good time doing it. So this is fun all day long.
I feel like I've been on a 12 rounds up and down boxing match myself, because I'm up on it, I'm down on it, I'm up on it. But like you said, keep expectations low. Realize that this is a WWE product with John Cena in his second movie. The budget was only $20 million, and they brought in just a hired pro to do the best he could with the budget he had. And I think that's 12 rounds. So, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's hard to hate on because I think it tries really hard. And the stunts, just everything's analog in it. And I complain so much about green screens, blue screens, and they can be used expertly. But this is one of those cool analog action movies that I wish there were more of. And I mean, there's really $20 million action movies don't get released in theaters anymore, do they?
No, not at all. If a summer tentpole movie doesn't make close to $1 billion, it's a failure.
Yeah, Man of Steel made 580 million or 720 million, and they're like, yeah, I don't know, we got to bring in Batman for the next one.
Wow.
Right.
And I'm just thinking, what? Wait, that was bonkers.
All I want is Phil to launder my 200 million.
That'll be our next episode.
I don't think it's asking that much.
I mean, you're gonna have to eat out a lot, buy groceries with cash.
Yeah.
You can't buy any gaudy cars, so can't be any skylines in your front yard, because people will know where that excess cash is coming from. Go on vacation, spend all cash, buy very expensive cupcakes.
Probably have a nice bunker of some kind in your backyard. Like you're burying most of it in the backyard, I would assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never buy anything over $5,000. If say anything has taught me how to keep my spending off the chart.
Oh, classic movie. Well, I mean, go to Vegas and you could lose $1 million, but you could also plausibly, and no one would know about it. But if you won $70,000, you could put that as your income, and then you could spend a little bit of that, and then people would think, oh, he won $70,000 in Vegas, like he can spend that.
Right. That's the answer.
Can you do that, Phil?
Vegas is the answer.
I think that's it's just your answer for the next 25 years, right? Every time you're pulling out wads of cash, it's like, oh, that 70,000 that time that I won in Vegas.
But could you go there every year and lose $1 million, but then win 100 G's and then claim that? But then you have to tell people about all the money you lost?
Sure.
I think so. From my limited knowledge on being a millionaire, I think that would work.
This is a pretty good idea.
Okay.
All right, we sold it.
I think this confirms that if any of the three of us ever came across 200 million in illicit funds, that we would be caught pretty much immediately.
Instantaneously.
It wasn't me.
Because I'm going to buy a wrestling ring and put it in my backyard. First thing. Yeah. First purchase.
Oh man, you're gonna have. Is that? We missed this recording, but that's gonna be the GTASA Federation started right there.
I want to say my favorite fact. And then we could bring this to an end, but I want to say with our whole money laundering thing, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, the guys who created the Ninja Turtles, when they got their first check for the action figures that were selling out, it was like $1.5 million, whatever. Like it was a life-changing check. And their financial advisor told them to put that money in the bank. More was coming, but put that in the bank. Let it be the principal. Never touch it. Like good. Phil, would you say it's good, sound financial advice?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Right. So
how many Lamborghinis did they buy?
Well, no. So one guy put that money in the bank and said, like, I'll spend some money off the next check that comes in. But the other guy bought a tank. He bought a tank so he could bring it to the paintball arena and play paintball in a tank.
Oh man!
And I'm scared that's the decisions that I would make.
I mean, they gotta still be making money off that, right? I mean, that's still a cash cow in their names, unless they sold it off.
They sold all the right. They are not hurting for money, that's for sure.
Wait,
But you didn't know that in 1987 that Ninja Turtles was going to be what it is now.
yeah.
All you knew at the time was I have a check for $1.5 million for this cartoon that I drew. I could be set for life, or I could buy a tank.
I'd be set for life.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Wait, who's the guy in 12 rounds? Dean Ambrose is in 12 rounds 3?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm actually very excited and curious about that one.
Lachlan Monroe's in it.
I'm a big John Moxley, Dean Ambrose fan.
Where's he at nowadays?
He's in AEW, killing it over there, just killing it.
Is AEW going to last?
Oh, I think it's gonna surpass WWE in the next 5 years.
Whoa. Phil?
That was bold. The thing that Adam and I have always said about AEW is it has a very much a WCW vibe from back in the day of the Monday Night Wars. So they're doing a lot of awesome things. I'm not sure I'm as bullish as Adam on whether they're going to last or not, or whether they're ever going to surpass WWE. But certainly it's worth tuning in and checking it out. It's an awesome show.
I mean, I got my money on the GTA SA.
Well, we'll get there.
We're coming for all of them.
Let it ride.
So actually, I have a buddy who I met through like local wrestling, and then through music and stuff, and then actually through toy collecting as well. And then a few weeks ago, he made his debut on AEW, so that's very exciting.
Oh,
so
that's
I kind
cool.
of have like an in right now.
AEW in?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay,
happen.
we got to get out of here, but since you are the host of the Go Figure, or the co-host of the Go Figure YouTube show, blowing up
Yes,
all over the
sir.
place, follow it on Instagram. You're going to love it. Toy line for 12 rounds. What
Toy line for
would
I love
be
this.
the collector's item? So we don't have to talk about all the characters, but when you go to the store, there's a bunch of
Yeah.
different things on the shelf that are left, but there's one 12 rounds article that's always sold out. What is it?
You can never get the trolley explosion playset. So it comes with a track, like a section of track, and it comes with a trolley that you can make explode by pushing a button on the back. So you can put your action figures on it. You can put your action figures on the tracks. You can put toy cars in front of it, whatever it is. You can play with on it, or you can have it explode and blow everything up. But it is so hard to get. It is in demand, and the exploding trolley playset from 12 rounds is the Christmas toy of the year.
Oh, I love it. I was very happy with my Danny that came with the little pug.
Oh yeah,
And I like my
Right.
Jackson with the SIM cards.
yeah. The pug is actually it's hollow, and when you squeeze it, it can squirt water.
Whoa. I haven't opened it. I'm just looking at it right now. I bought it in 08. I had to wrestle somebody for it.
All
right.
wrestle somebody for the John Cena figure. That's my favorite thing.
All right. Well, thank y'all, everybody. Thank you, Phil and Adam, for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
This is the best.
All right. So
Yeah,
for me,
thanks
Mark.
so much.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Oh, sorry, Phil. I just cut you off, man. Thank you for joining
All
me.
good, dude.
Hey, we're doing Never Back Down. All right. We're 100% talking about Cam Jigga as the bad guy in that
Jigande?
movie.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he's a mean villain, dude. And you got Jaimin Hunsu in there. That's a good picture.
Some decent MMA in there too.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I don't want to talk about that for a long time, and no one's ever wanted to talk about it with me. So this is good. So I look forward to that. All right. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Adam Hodgins, and for Phil Briggs, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.